Just like some of these other people that hear their speakers, who I call them Bug, to come on the show, and I'm like, hey, Colonel, I'd sure like to have it on the radio. And he's like, yes, it's really bad. They were at the base, and we trained them, and they're government agents. This is absolutely horrible. My God, I can't believe this country. All of a sudden, what are you doing? Get off the phone. They told you. They told you. I got to go. Dial tone. I've talked to New York firefighters. It's like that. I've heard firefighters and their wives screaming, they threaten the children. What the? I mean, that's the country we live in. Hey, Colonel, come on the radio show. Blah. I mean, you know, because this is blah. This is bad stuff. This isn't a joke. We got murdering killers running our government, and they're going to do it again. And we got to stop them. They're arrogant, they reach too far, and they're going to fail. I hope to God they don't do something bigger. I hope they don't do anything. But if they do, they just seal the final nail in their coffin. So go ahead, you arrogant, inbred trash. You country club wannabes. You pieces of filth. Bring it on, as your leader says. Because we're going to expose you and we're going to defeat you. Bombs in the building. Stephen Jones coming up here in about 30 minutes. He'll get into that in great detail. Professor Stephen Jones, BYU physics professor. Dr. Jones. Call my dad that. I have to start calling him Dr. Jones. Bombs in the buildings. I mean, give me a break. Modern steel buildings never fell from fires. Silverstein slipped up and said they pulled it, they blew it, demolition term. It's reported by hundreds of firefighters, police, there were bombs in the buildings. We got the recordings. It's unbelievable. And then you look at these squibs, you look at the blast points. The evidence is overwhelming. I mean, look at this photo. I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but right there in the middle of the building is a blast point. There's one down here. There's one right here. You talk to firefighters and others, they were all blown in one floor or two floor pieces, perfectly blasted. You look at photos of them, they're sheared off like they were sliced by a butter knife and they were butter. There's one photo of it. There's one of the areas detailed for you. And then we have the Pentagon controversy. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the Pentagon controversy. It's as if it was tailor-made to get the bees to come to the honeypot. Get the bear to come to the honeypot, whatever analogy you wish. Pick it. I see a 16-foot hole. I see him grabbing surveillance camera tapes. I see all the things that have happened. It's very suspicious, but I've never made a film about it, even though I know it'd be popular. And I think it's good to investigate it. I'm not criticizing those that have. But then I've been criticized for just people always ask, why won't you talk about it? I go, I see their signature. I see their MO. Whether no plane hit or a plane did, the point is I meant to talk about this by these people, and I don't give them what they want. I just don't give them what they want. And the media from day one has always been happy to give attention to no plane hitting the Pentagon. And they like to give attention to other people that say planes didn't hit the towers. And I really don't see any evidence of that. Planes certainly did from what I've seen, but we're all allowed to have our own opinions. Fine. I'm not part of some orthodoxy as some grand poobah trying to tell people what to say. Thank you. I don't pretend to know what people should cover or what they should do. I think this free debate, this collegiate, university-style discussion as an American people looking and researching this is the answer. But I just challenge people to talk as much as you do about the Pentagon, about, and I mean, I ought to go out to California, I ought to stake out this colonel's house. I ought to get an interview with him about training these hijackers. I mean, we ought to demand this. And of course, they were trained other places too, Pensacola, and that was in the news. We need to focus on the things that are incontrovertible, and we need to focus on the entire spectrum of them. That's all I'm asking for. It's like going to the restaurant and ordering the one thing you've ordered, and then always ordering that same thing. I'm saying shake it up a little bit. If you go out to the public and you look at the full spectrum, even if we're wrong about 2 or 3 things, which in most cases we're not, it doesn't matter. The total sum evidence is there, especially in the history of government-sponsored terrorism. And then we judge a tree by its fruits. We judge a tree by its fruits. And Bush is just a high-level middle manager in this system. And he's actually been picked to look demonic, to look like a sniveling creature. He doesn't even know this. The entire administration has been chosen by the elite to actually demonize America as part of a larger global plan in the future. We're meant to fall. We're going into the American Union right now. That's Bush's amnesty plan. And we're not meant to see the big picture on this. But if you can't educate people about 9/11, and they're not ready for that yet, what about all the other things? Bush saying that he is above the law. And one of the big examples of that is torture. And Alberto Gonzales, earlier today in the press conference, I said these guys are murderers. And they are. Donald Rumsfeld's a murderer. George Bush is a murderer. I said that in my first film, Road to Tyranny. I mean, when you write memos and the president signs off on it saying, we can torture people, and if they die, it's okay. And then they torture people to death. In fact, in a court of law, you're more guilty in giving the order in precedent than the person that actually carried it out. But when their goons are stupid enough to take pictures of it, they just court-martial him and put him in jail for a year. They'll probably get some big corporate promotion after that, after they spent time in the Hilton. And then you got this creature. If you think Gonzales saying we can put people on tables and we can dunk them down and start drowning them, or we can rip their toenails out, that's pretty bad. And again, it shows their disconnect. Shows their disconnect. They've been getting along with it so long. It's like Marie Antoinette, let them eat cake. It's not really a true story, but it's a good example. They're up there saying, let them eat cake. We're at the gates of the Bastille going, we don't like what you're doing. They're like, oh, we're torturing. This guy, John Yoo right here, been in mainstream newspapers, that the man on your screen, and the memo's public, I've got it in my new film, Terror Storm, coming out, said, look, the president is the law, the Führer principle, the leader principle that they have invoked. And he says we're allowed to torture people whoever we want, however we want, and we can even torture innocent third parties, bystanders, including children, including small children. And he gave the example, we can put pliers on a 5-year-old's genitalia and crush them. I mean, again, folks, every once in a while when I watch TV, if I'm flipping through and it's HBO special about Jeffrey Dahmer, I flip the channel. But that guy's been dead a long time in prison. But I'm like, I don't have some fascination with these people. I can't believe this is going on. I can't believe, again, pinch me. Right now, I don't even know this is insane. I mean, is this real? They write memos, they get to the Pentagon saying we can torture little kids. Who are these people? And then I'm bad for saying they're scum. I'm bad. There's something wrong with me. Because I'm not afraid of these people. And because I'm going to fight them, and I'm going to call them what they are. Low-down, murdering, dirty dogs. I want to see them brought to justice. And if you want to bring these people to justice before they totally dominate you and your family, you're going to have to totally get over your fear. When your fear is gone, you're going to have the true, dynamic, human spirit driving you, and you will be unstoppable. Pieces of trash that are on your screen. Let me tell you something. Joseph Mengele had more class than these people, and I hate Joseph Mengele. No, I'm serious. You know what he did? They'd take little kids and put them in hyperbaric chambers to test for their pilots till their eyeballs popped out. They'd take twins and sew them together. They'd tie women's legs together when they were delivering. It just all kind of... It's admitted, that his own officers admitted, Joseph Mengele, every few weeks when he was stressed out, he'd load up his big Mercedes, and they'd drive down the road, and they'd line them up. He'd give them chocolates. They'd get 5 or 6 little kids lined up, normally little Jewish kids, give them a bunch of chocolates. I know I shouldn't call Joseph Mengele a criminal. And they would sit there, and he'd let them eat the chocolates, and he'd stand forward with a Luger and blow their little heads off. Just right down the line. He liked it. And let me tell you something. The people on your screen, they like it too. They like it too. And he was at a CFR meeting in Chicago a few months ago, John Yoo, and one of the CFR members said, hey, this is your memo. You said this. We played the recording. I've interviewed the professor. And John Yoo goes, yeah, I said it. We're allowed to do it.